Yes, yes, yes. As it says in the title, I just worked for the Emmys. Man, it was so cool. It was such a cool experience. I am incredibly honored. I worked for the Oscars, which I was just an intern, so I learned a lot, which prepped me to do the Astras. And when I worked the Astras, everything I learned, I applied. And then, from that, now we're here. I did the Emmys. Super honored, man. I'm super honored. I'm super happy. They even asked me to come back for the next shoot. Oh, man, I'm still in awe. I'm still in awe about it all. So cool, man. I saw so many stars. Actually, here, I'll post a video right here. So yeah, dude, it was just so cool to see all the stars, and to everything you're seeing right now was everything I shot. There was 2 camera operators there. It was me and Izzy. And what was really cool about this situation is that the team was great. And what was great about it is that there was a team. There was like me and Izzy that were the 2 camera operators. There was two editors, which was Zachy and Max. Dude, it was great, man. It was really cool. Everybody got along and everyone worked hard. I loved it. It was inspiring. I think we did a great job. The way that it happened was probably the most Hollywood crazy moment you can have. It was the night before, and a person I was trying to work for quite some time hit me up the night before and was like, "Hey, are you available this weekend?" And I was like, I'm not doing anything. And she was like, "Yeah, can you be on standby?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So literally the morning of the Emmys, she had been calling me. I was still asleep. I woke up. It was 9 a.m. and she was like, "Hey, can you be here at 1 p.m.?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." And she was like, "Okay, cool." And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. But I'll talk about that more when it comes to staying ready so you don't have to get ready. It happens like that sometimes. And that really kind of made me realize that waking up early, even when you don't have something to do, is important. So again, that's a part of staying ready so you don't have to get ready. So shooting at the Emmys, I had the opportunity to use both of my cameras. My camera that I've been shooting with, the Sony FX3, which was amazing, did amazing. I've had the camera for a while, so it did great. And I knew it was going to do great. But the very, 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 very cool thing is I got to use my new camera to really see how it compares to the FX3, and how much I was going to actually use it. Which I actually ended up using it quite a bit. I want to be posting a video of my new camera, which I don't want to say what it is because I want to save that for the other video. But yes, it helped a lot. It super helped having a second camera. One thing I will say, a lot of it has to do with having a dedicated lens. I talk about that a lot in my other video, but yes, having that on a dedicated lens for that camera, oh my God, I can't even explain how much it helped. Having a team at the Emmys was huge. Obviously, the budget was pretty big, and they can afford that. But to be honest, when you can work with a team, it really does make all the difference. It really does. Trying to do that on your own or I think when you get more into the professional world, you'll always have a team, to be honest. Especially on like big productions, you'll have if you're working for Disney or Paramount, such and such. Title wise, in bigger productions, you'll have, you have your DP, you have your cam op. Obviously, those 2 things most sets will always have. But In bigger productions, you always have, first AC, second AC, film loader. You probably have a DIT. You probably have a bunch of utilities. It's very different in higher budget productions.
All right, well, that is a wrap. Day 2, and yeah, man, it was fun. It was tiring, but that's it. We're out.
You probably don't know who I am. I'm Bobby DeCones. Just to kind of give you a little bit of my background of the things I've done. I've shot movies, short form, long form, commercials, music videos, conceptualized visuals, proof of concepts. Companies that I've worked for, the NFL, Amazon, CBS, Hulu. I'm currently working for a dance studio that's owned by Charlize Theron and Tyrell and Latrina Washington. I recently have been shooting for a ton of different dance conventions, which was great. Kept me really busy, paid really well. Usually the convention circuits are usually really good, especially for media, because they need it. A lot of businesses always need media. So I also done weddings. I am actually about to shoot a wedding really soon, this month actually, for a really good friend of mine. A lot of the weddings I've done for friends, which is it's a big blessing to have the honor to do that and to have that responsibility, to be honest. I always say to people that my objective is to make my clients cry. Technically it's weird calling them clients because they're my friends, so it's always good to know that they were crying while they're watching it in a good way, because obviously it's touching and it's dramatic, and and it's a big day for them. I do a lot of social media. It's probably my main job, doing even for the Emmys. It was for their social media. Now, how to work in film. Patience. You have to be patient. And to be honest, that part of it takes discipline, man. It's at the end of the day, I try to tell people all the time, you have to remember you love this. This is why. You have to remember your why. I know those are cliches, but it's so true, man. You have to do it. You have to remember your why, that you love it, because there are going to be tough times. There just is. Next one that I know a lot of people hate is work for free. I promise you, everyone that you've ever looked up to, or that you admire, or that you're inspired by, at one point they worked for free. And honestly, and I can speak on that. I can speak on working for free, because to be honest, that's probably how I created more than half of the relationships that I've created. For example, how I worked for the NFL. I was shooting a music video for a friend that I really support. At the time, his name was Glooms. His real name is Josh. Josh Swibin. But yes, Josh is a very good friend of mine. He's an amazing artist, musical artist. I was shooting his music video for free, and while we were shooting it, I didn't know the director, or I think he was either the director, or technically he was like A-cam. But yeah, he was shooting as well. And a little trick that I'll tell you, while I was shooting, I made sure he can see my monitor while I was shooting. And as I was shooting, that's a very big trick. Write that down. I'm telling you, it works in so many different ways. But yes, when I was shooting, I made sure he can see my monitor, and here and there he would just say to me, he's like, "Hey man, that's a great shot." So the way that this works is you get on the set and you offer to be B-cam. So when you're on set and you're B-cam, especially if you're offering for free, it's no one really says no to free. So yeah, that usually happens. And to be honest, you get that on-set experience. I think that's priceless. Not a lot of people, people always think that you need to get paid, but if you don't have experience, how, it's just like being a bartender. I talked to a bartender one time, a really good friend of mine, and she was saying that they don't care if you went to bartending school. What they care about is, if you were at a if you worked at like a sports bar on a Sunday, and it's football and it's rowdy and it's crazy, and you had to deal with all that. That's what people look for, man. They look for experience in anything. It's cool that you went to school, but if you don't know, if you haven't had like on hand experience, a lot of people they it's hard. They're kind of taking a risk, so they value that experience. Another thing we'll definitely speak on in a second is with working for free, you'll learn to mess up. Failing is the best teacher, and just like what Denzel Washington said, if you're gonna fail forward. If you're gonna fall 7 times, get up 8. What's great about practicing and working for free is you'll have these moments that you'll learn from. And one thing that I learned for shooting for Josh in that music video, and then with the director there, I was able to provide things that they didn't have, which was really cool, because they were walking around looking for a chord. I was like, oh, this chord, and I had it with my gear, and they're like, yeah. And then I'll be, and then they'll like, oh, we need this, and I was like, oh, this, and then like, yeah, and like I literally did it like 5 times, and it was for them, it was it's I made myself memorable, and that's a big thing, that you need to be memorable. But at the end of the music video, Jerry, that's the director slash ACAM. He, at the end of the music video, he came up to me and he's like, "Hey man, are you free next month?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Okay, let me get your number." So I got his number. I gave him my number and I took his. Make sure you always do that. Don't just give your number. Make sure you try to get theirs as well if you can. But yeah, sure enough, he hit me up next month, the following month, and he was like, "Hey, how would you like to shoot this NFL thing with me?" And it was the promo for when the NFL and Amazon were coming together to start Thursday Night Football. So yeah, I can say that I shot for the NFL and Amazon at the same time. So yeah, that was, and it came from working for free. And also when you work for free, you can fail. You have the opportunity to fail, to learn, to create relationships. That's a big one. When I interned for the Oscars, I was working for free, but I gained a lot of relationships. My mentor now, Danny Bonilla, he I kept that relationship, and it's a big relationship because he gives me great advice, and he really does help me a lot. That's also how I met my other mentors who told me to go to this school, to go to this program, Hollywood CPR. Shout out Hollywood CPR. Couldn't thank them enough. But yeah, they got me into the union, and I'm local 600, and it's I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it with these, especially with stuff like this. yeah, if it is a union job, I can do it because I'm union. And I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for the program, but I wouldn't have gotten to the program if it wasn't for the relationship that I got through working for free. So yes, it works. It works. Next, learn the basics. Fundamentals. I can't stress that enough. I'm so passionate about this one because I think a lot of people think you can fake it till you make it in camera. Yeah. Some people do, I'm not gonna lie, but the people who are great know what they are doing. I can't tell you how many times yeah, man, there's been situations that I really don't want to speak on, to be honest. But when it was working with people, not me, I take what I do extremely serious. And one of my biggest inspirations is Kobe Bryant. And Kobe said one time, you know, if you're ever nervous, or if you feel scared or afraid, like during the game, he blames that on himself because he didn't prepare enough. That's something that I've always taken to heart, that I've heard a long time ago, and it makes sense, man. Yeah, know what you're doing. But what I mean by that is know your settings, know your framing, know a little bit of lighting, know camera movement. You know, I shoot a lot of dance. That's my main field. But that also translates to just movement in general. A person walking down the street, and then obviously with dancing. But yeah, settings wise, know what aperture is, know what shutter speed is, know what your ISO is, know what your white balance is. That's baseline, book smart, just basics. And you like those four things, I believe, yeah, aperture, shutter speed, ISO, white balance. Those four things you should know. Period. You should know those things if you are going towards the camera direction. I can't stress that enough. So a quick little story when it comes to knowing what you're doing with, you know, aperture, ISO, white balance, and shutter speed. They didn't know what they were doing, and I thought they did, which is my fault. You know, I hired them. But I thought they knew that, and you know, I couldn't use literally half of their footage. So that's how important that is. It's literally, if you don't know those four things, you can literally ruin a lot. So definitely, again, I can't stress that enough. Please know your settings. I just got back from second week of Emmys. I am so tired. These days are so long, and just being surrounded by so many people, talking to so many people, and just having to be on your game the whole time is rough. But I'm back. We're done. The Emmys are done. But I wanted to bring to you more footage from second week, so check it out. This one was really cool because it was their prime time. Yeah, man, got to saw the cast of the studio as well as adolescents, the winners. So yeah, it was just so cool. Team was great again. Yeah, man. But yeah, let's get back to the video. Being professional. Oh man, being professional is a real thing, and I think people forget. Some people forget when you're very talented, that's not enough. You have to be professional. Talented is huge. If you ask me what's more important, I couldn't tell you. Truthfully, it's probably even, because you can be super talented, but if you show up late, that affects everybody. It literally affects everyone. I always live by, if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. To me personally, professionalism always outweighs talent, because I believe people can become talented. Professionalism, as they say in the business, first impressions are everything. And if you're late, that's just horrible. Yeah, if you're dealing with hard people to deal with, I worked with someone who said to me, let your work speak for itself. And I was angry in that moment. I was very angry. We all have those moments where we just get very upset, very irritated. But when the manager of one of the conventions that I was dance conventions that I was working on, when he said, hey man, just put your head down and let your work speak for itself, I'll never forget that. His name is G. Shout out to G. He said that to me, and sure enough, man, it just, everyone loved the work I was doing. I put my head down, I focused on the work. I learned fully what I needed to do, what I was supposed to do, and I was killing it afterwards. Man, I can't stress that enough. That one's a huge one. For the Oscars, as far as being professional, a big one, I believe his name was Garrett. It started with a G. This was a long time ago, but if I find the name, I'll definitely put it in the caption or in the description. But what I do remember, as far as being professional, and I'll never forget this, I got there. I always got to the Oscars really early, just because professionalism. But he was there, Garrett. He was always there, super early, even before I was. And I got there like an hour early. And he was there. And what was cool, because he was one of the camera operators, what was cool to see him do, he was in the pit, his area of the theater, and he was just going through his motions. He was looking at his sheet of all the awards that he has to capture, and he just kept doing his motions of where everyone's going to be at. And I thought that was so cool, so professional, and inspiring. And for sure he was there even earlier than an hour. So that always inspired me. That always, that stuck with me. So be professional, and that means going above and beyond, sacrifice, and people pay attention to that, man. People pay attention to that, and people remember that. Remember earlier how I said practice, practice, practice? We are gonna talk about practice, practice, practice. Shoot all the time. Preparation, just like what I was talking about with Kobe. When I first got my camera, I didn't just get my camera. I got my camera, I got my lens, I got my laptop, and I got the gimbal all at once. And I believe I spent close to 10 grand. At that time, that was pretty much everything I had. So it definitely lit a fire under me, and I just got out there and started shooting, because I needed to make that money back. So I got all my friends. It's definitely a huge plus to be in the dance community and to dance as long as I have, because I just have a lot of circles. And I just constantly called friends, constantly was shooting, and sure enough, people started asking me to shoot dance classes or shoot their concept. But for me, the way that I was shooting, which leads to my next thing, is shoot the way that you want to work. I shot a lot of videos that were commercial-esque, that was music video-esque, that was movie-esque, because I didn't want to just shoot dance and shoot classes. I also wanted to show people what I wanted to do. And in doing that drew those crowds, to be honest. It definitely, especially with like movies and music videos, or like TV shows like that. When I was shooting certain things, certain like concepts, I really made it look like a movie, and that really drew in a lot of people. And again, I did that all for free. I just wanted, I wanted to shoot. And to be honest, yes, I've always loved music and dance, but to be honest, what has always been a big part of my life was movies. Movies really impact my personality, how I think, to be honest. And I think falling into this, I just loved it, man. And I think that's how I shoot. So I just do it all the time. And I think that it's noticed, and people see it. And I really do love what I do. So yeah, man, shoot the way you want to work. And it's fun. It's fun when you do it like that, man. When you shoot the way you want to work, it's fun, and you get to really explore like how you would do it, how you would direct. You know, a lot of the time I have to direct it as well, you know. But in that, I've learned the difference between being the director and the DP, which is a huge relationship on set. DP, if you don't know what that is, it's the director of photography. So obviously it's the director's idea, and the DP makes it happen. Yes, the next one. These are all, they kind of all connect together, because the next one is stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Man, again, just keep shooting, man. And you know, something as small as keeping your batteries charged, as big as like use your gear, know your gear in and out. One thing that I sometimes struggle with: wake up early. The Emmys. Thankfully, I woke up early. It was cool. I was like, yeah, I can be there. And, you know, got ready, got my coffee, you know, did my routine to wake up. And, yeah, man, that's just Hollywood. That's how it is. That's how it works. That's why you have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I, had my gear. I knew exactly where my gear was, all the gear that I was going to use. We had a quick little creative meeting, talked about the things that I might do. And yeah, man, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew how I wanted to go into it. Yeah, man. Yeah, just stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Know the job you're working for. This really goes into stuff like with the Emmys. I wasn't going to come to the Emmys in with like a t-shirt and jeans and some sneakers. You can't do that. You can't just do whatever you want. You have to be professional, man. And yes, you are your own person, but I think a lot of the time we forget that when you're hired for a job, they're asking you to be a part of their world. So when you say yes, you're saying yes to their world. Yeah, it's also respectful. It's like kind of showing up to a wedding in jeans and a t-shirt. You wouldn't do that, you just wouldn't do that. Yeah. That also goes into like the vibe, how you should speak. It's just professional, man. That honest professionalism really separates a lot of people. And I think we're so stuck in how we feel and how we want to do things. We forget that with your stuff, absolutely do whatever you want. But other people's stuff that you're being a part of, be respectful and be professional, and know that it's their job. It's not your job, and you're working for them. And as much as we don't admit it, there is a hierarchy. The best ability is availability. Again, with the Emmys, I wasn't doing anything and I was ready, and I woke up early. You just never know with this industry, man. You might just get a call one day and say, hey, you want to do the Emmys? It happens like that, dude. It really does. And with that being said, that's also how you can lose a job, is you're just not, for one, obviously when you're busy, that's actually great. At the program I was a part of, they actually told us that, you know, we get so afraid with FOMO, you know, fear of missing out. We get afraid that if we say that we're busy or we can't, that we'll lose out on the job. But to be honest, a lot of the time, and this is what they told us, and I truly believe this, a lot of the time it actually sounds better to say that you're busy. But also, it does suck when you miss out on a job, you know, miss out on certain jobs, especially something like this. If I missed out on doing the Emmys, that would have sucked. Because the feeling that I have now after doing the Emmys, it's, you know, it's irreplaceable. And yeah. Okay, now this goes into all jobs, and I really do feel like this is something that a lot of people forget. Be easy to work with. Man, oh man, this happens quite a bit. Oh man, I've literally been on jobs where I pride myself in being easy to work with, being fun to work with, being smart, knowing what I'm doing. But I was on a job where a guy, he was just very hard to work with and was slowing things down because he really wanted to make sure that this was like this, and you know, and you can hear it in everyone's voice was like come on, man, like we got to move on, you know. And he was like, he was just so set on doing what he wants to do. And again, going back into coming into someone else's world, like when they hire you, they're hiring you for their job, so you have to adapt. That's a big one, being a chameleon, you know. Adapt. I think from dance, you know, there's a term that most dancers know, which is make it work, which means be adaptable, figure it out. Be easy to work with, man. A lot of people, especially if you're in an environment for like long hours, you know, for the Emmys, we were there for 8 hours, you know, and it gets stressful. Everyone's tired, and you really do want to be around people that have great energy, that are positive, that are funny, you know, and that can really uplift the environment. And I love doing that. I love cracking a joke. I love making the environment light, and that's huge, man. And if you are a problem, you know, that same guy who I'm talking about, you know, at the end of the day, he was saying he was having issues finding work and working for people, and I just felt like it wasn't my place to tell him that, dude, you're hard to work with. But it was the first thing that came to my mind is, dude, you're hard to work with. And he was super smart and very talented. He's really good at what he does. But as soon as he said that he's been having issue finding work and hasn't been working, that's literally the first thing that came to my mind. So, it's huge, man. It's very huge. Be easy to work with. Gear. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have clapped. Gear. The majority of the time, this is what people have asked for. Camera-wise, the highest is 4K 60. 4K 60, not 4K 24, 4K 24, 4K 30, as well as 4K 60. No, not too many people have asked for 120, like ever, really. Maybe once or twice. But yes, 60, 1000%, multiple times. 4K, 1000%, all the time. Actually, that's like that is minimum. I speak on that in the other video that I will be posting soon. But yes, 4K, 60, and to me, honestly, 10-bit. My A7 III was great. It was amazing. But as soon as I got the A7 IV, I saw the huge difference. There is a difference. So yes, that. And the videos that you see that I shot was all 4K, 60, 10-bit. And personally, I think it looks great. I love my FX3 and my other camera, which again, I will not tell you what that is. You have to watch the other video. But I will say the other camera is a very affordable camera. So that could be your very first camera that you start with, because it's actually pretty cheap. My FX3 was not cheap, but again, investment. It is all an investment. You definitely have to know that when it comes to getting into camera, it's a very, very, very expensive world. But if you do have any questions, I would love to help you with that, because I know how expensive it gets. I actually help quite a bit of people with gear quite often, and they ask me a lot, especially with camera bodies and lenses, maybe more so lenses. But yes, if you do have any questions, I would love to answer them. So definitely leave a comment, and I'll definitely answer the question of like first camera. I always try to ask people like, the first question that I ask is what's your budget, and then the second question is what are you using it for? So yeah. Oh yes, gear with the camera. I when it comes to lenses, definitely get one wide, get one telephoto, like one that has a lot of reach. So if someone's super far away, you can get them, and a wide so you can get the entire scene. The lens that I used for the Emmys was my Sony G Master 24mm 1.4. Probably before I got my 14, probably my favorite lens. Love my 24. I do like the 35, but I'm definitely more of a 24 guy. Telephoto lens, yes. I would if I was starting off, if I had to go back in time, I would definitely get 2 zooms in the very beginning, like a 16 and 35. And then like a 24 to 70. If I definitely had to start all over, I would get those 2 lenses and stick with those for a very long time. And I would probably, one thing I try to tell everyone, it's worth waiting to get the better gear. Like, yes, it might be more expensive, but you don't, like, again, all of this gets very expensive. You don't want to buy one thing and then later on know that you have to buy another thing. I had a buddy that bought a lens, and then I showed him another lens, and he was like, dang it. And that happens often. So I would save your money to get the better thing, whatever that is, camera or lens. That 1000%, I highly suggest that. So get a wide lens and one wide lens, one telephoto lens. The 24 to 70 is good, but I would personally probably get like a 50 to 150 or the like 70 to 200. That middle area, a trick that you can do on most cameras, like with my Sony FX3, you can do the clear image zoom. But I know on a lot of full frame cameras, you can do the APS-C punch in. It's like a crop mode. You can turn a 24 into a 35 or a 35 into a 50. So it's really, you're missing the 35 and the 50 area. For me, that's why I love my 14, I love my 24, and then I just use the clear image zoom, and then after that I use my 50 to 100. Now when it comes to specialty things like great example is like a super slow-mo camera. No one's ever asked me for that, like ever, I think. But like I'm talking, like I just saw this photo or something on Instagram for 1,000 FPS. That is slow, which probably, man, the image and the video that you probably get from that is probably so cool. But not a lot of people ask for that. So, again, shop for what you're doing. Buy for what you're doing. And also buy for where you're at too, yeah, that's a huge one. But like something like that 1,000 FPS, that's yeah, you can just rent something like that. But if you do have something like that, those are the type of things that will get you rehired on jobs, like honestly, because if you have certain things that most people don't have, or if they didn't have it themselves, that makes you memorable. Just like, when I worked for that music video and through that music video, just because I had these chords and certain little things, that's how I worked for the NFL. Yeah, so being memorable as well as having something that most people don't have, but don't go out of your way to get it unless you really can. Also, if you have a drone, most people, if you have a drone, that's a huge plus. I personally don't have a drone. I am actually afraid to have a drone because of all the like air regulations. You can easily get a $10,000, $20,000 fine like that. And that scares me. So I don't even mess with that. I usually just hire someone that has a drone. Honestly, I haven't really flown one before, so that's another reason why I would rather just hire someone. Because another thing, like, being professional, one thing I probably should have said earlier is time is money. And when time is money, you don't want to like eat up time. You don't want to waste time. So you really need like something like a drone operator. You really don't want to be figuring anything out on set. I'll say that a lot of times in all my videos. You really don't want to be figuring out anything on set, especially if you have new gear. Yeah. Never figure out stuff on set. Obviously, stuff happens and you have to figure it out. But my professor in college did say we don't get paid for our talents and skill. We get paid to problem solve. That's something that always stuck with me, which I always thought was very cool. The last two things that I will talk about to me is probably the most important things. One being gratitude. Man, be thankful. Yeah. Be thankful, man. Another reason why I do this is because I genuinely love it. So with that, it's like, I think we forget how big of a blessing it is to do what we love as work. I think a lot of people forget that, man. That's such a huge blessing, dude. I get paid to do what I love. And even doing these videos, man, it's my opportunity to do what I love all the time now. And I think it's so cool. And now I get to share this with you guys. And again, I really do hope it helps people. I hope it helps you. I really do. I in the beginning, it was tough, man, trying to figure it out. Getting taken advantage of. Maybe I'll do another video on of rates. That's such a touchy subject, but that's just figuring all that out, man, and going through it. I think what I'm trying to do with these videos is help you in that process, because it was tough, man. It was very tough, and I hope I can help you with that. I really do. So, which leads me to the last one is love what you do. I literally just said it. And I think when you remember to love it, and it is not just a material thing like money. When you remember that you love it, to be honest, you're more creative. You are more easy. You're easier to work with. You create a great environment. Yeah, man. And you have more peace, and you bring that, and to me, that's what makes me work harder. Yeah, man. It's so important that those two things are very important. Gratitude, being thankful, and love what you do, man. And it reads, man. People do know. I take a lot of pride in that. The majority of the people that I work with, they say that to me. They all say that they see that I love this. They see that I love what I do, and every time I hear that, I don't take that lightly, man. It brings a huge smile to my face, because I hope people can see that. With that being said, thank you for watching my video. I truly hope this helps you. And if you do have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I help quite a bit of people, a lot of my friends, with their journey. So this is nothing new to me. I really do enjoy helping them in this process. So I hopefully can help you. All right, guys.